Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Get your pat on the back, and that's the ball game.
So the Giants were hoping to take 2 out of 3, and it turns out the Blue Jays turn the tables on them, and they take 2 out of 3.
Man. Dwayne Kuiper on the call, NBC Sports Bay Area, alongside Mike Krukow. Giants fall yesterday, 5-3 the final, as the Toronto Blue Jays come in, take the series, and the Giants will not finish at or over 500 before the All-Star break. They are guaranteed to be under it by the time that happens. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni here with you for the next hour. And you know the number to get involved, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. That is the number. Love to hear from you today. I can't get on board with the Giants. They haven't given me a reason yet. I've been cautiously optimistic, but I emphasize the word cautiously because they're a team right now that's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You do something good, then it gets washed away because you have a bad series like this one, which honestly probably should have been a sweep, which we would be looking at a lot different right now, being at 44-50. They got the comeback. They earn it, but they were a choke job away from getting swept in this one. And now you're going up against the Minnesota Twins, who are a far better team right now than the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, doesn't mean anything. You can beat them. You can feel good heading into the break. But for the mentals, this series all of a sudden becomes massive. And if you're going to be a seller at the deadline or not. Farhan Zaidi spoke yesterday to a local media station and basically was saying, yeah, it's not looking good right now. We could be sellers. Now, is he doing posturing here? Is he trying to drive up a price point or something like that? That's what it's lying season. We like to say it in NBA. We like to say it in NFL. It's also in Major League Baseball. We'll see if they truly are sellers at the deadline. But right now, it's just more of the same. It's more of the same from what we've seen from the Giants the last 2 years. And we can sugarcoat it and say, yeah, but there's some young players there. And there are. Elliot Ramos, him getting an all-star appearance, that's huge. First outfielder to do it since, Chili Davis? Was it just position? No, not position play. Relax. They've had some before that. But homegrown outfielder, excuse me. Listen, Patrick Bailey having a nice season. Stremski, though, Flores, even Estrada, those are the guys I'm looking at. If they're going to be sellers, I'm okay with moving. You already moved off of Slater. You already moved off of Nick Ahmed. If those are the guys you need to move off of, so be it. Because again, this is not totally like the other years in San Francisco. See, the last couple of years, we just haven't had a name to cling on to. We keep hearing from Luciano. Well, he's stuck in AAA still. And the guy was just awful defensively when he came up here. Wasn't good enough. I don't even know if he's going to be starting at second base. Is he even shortstop? Is he even a shortstop in the minor leagues anymore? I think they shifted him over. That experiment died down real quick. But Brett Wisely, been solid. Again, Ramos, Patrick Bailey, Hayden Birdsong, pitcher. But nonetheless, you've had some guys that you could look at and say, okay, we're building something for the future. So it's not a total loss, but when you look up at the standings, why does it feel the same? It feels like the last 2 seasons. Just sort of, hum. Oh yeah, we go 8-5, then we go 1-3. It's just, they're going to be hovering around 500 all season long. And that might be good enough for some fans. Because you know what? You can cling to, well, they're only a couple games out of the wild card. And that third wild card really has, changed things of how players and coaches and GMs feel about their chances of, making the playoffs. Because you're really never out of it unless you are truly atrocious, like the Rockies, like the Marlins, White Sox, A's, Angels are. Those are the only teams that are really out of it right now. Again, these are your wild card teams. Got the Braves, who you just saw, St. Louis Cardinals, New York Mets. Then you got the Padres, D-backs, Pirates, Cubs, Reds, Giants. So within a span of a couple days, the Giants went from what? Only one or two teams ahead of them for that third wild card to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm counting 6 because Mets and Padres are they're tied, but Mets have the virtue of the tiebreaker right now. Whatever that means on July 12th. I say that to say this. What's changed in the Farhan Zaidi era? What's changed? Not a lot. You've had one miraculous year, which looks like lightning in a bottle. The frustrating part is, I think for a lot of fans, at least for me, who again, I have no dog in this fight. I don't care one way or the other. But how could you have confidence in this guy building a World Series contender when all he has built outside of 1 year is just below average to average? It's frustrating. It's not incumbent of a general manager or president of baseball operations, whatever the hell you want to call him, of the San Francisco Giants, who won 3 World Series in this century, who have gone out and tried to go after players. And listen, it didn't always work out. In most cases, it didn't. And listen, they went out this year and tried to spend. They did. Now, just because you spend doesn't mean I'm going to clap. The allocation of resources has to hit. And right now, Matt Chapman's been okay. Batting .240, that's kind of what he is at his career. But defensively, he's elite. I'm not mad at Matt Chapman. Jorge Soler, he's been a disappointment so far. Let's just call it what it is. He's been disappointing. Blake Snell had his best start of the season, and he only went 5 innings. Listen, it was a good start comparative to what he had done up to that point, which was a hot bundle of garbage. So the big acquisitions have really not been great. It's been the young guys. That's been the story so far. But even those guys, and I'll toss in Jordan Hicks as well in the Blake Snell category too. Not in, I think he was horrible or anything, but just the disappointment as of late, you're seeing it more. But Jordan Hicks started off so good. I can't be too mad at the guy making that transition from the bullpen to the starting role. He's been solid. Rough outing for him yesterday, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs. Wasn't his best performance, and you can see it early on. I mean, Shasky's been alluding to it. He just looks exhausted when he goes out there. He does. I know he's, I always forget the one or the two. I know he's a diabetic. I know there's days where they have to eat a lot. Like Mason Miller's gone through this stuff too, who's obviously a closer, all-star closer for the Oakland Athletics. It's a lot for these guys. And the workload on the arm alone, going from the bullpen to being a full-time starter, it's very difficult. So I would anticipate Jordan Hicks shifting back to a bullpen role here going forward, or maybe, a couple innings here, spot starts, stuff like that, opener role. Like, ease him back, because what we saw, the high level of Jordan Hicks, was incredible. And I hope he could be that guy as his arm gets stronger and stronger and more durable as the years go on. But again, I just go back to these signings and they leave me wanting as a San Francisco Giants fan so far this season. And I want to know where Giants fans are at right now. 45-49. You got a 3-game set against the Minnesota Twins before the All-Star break. How are we feeling about this team? Do you even have a feeling about this team? 888-957-9570, because Bonte and I, when I filled in for Shasky for the morning roast a couple days ago, we were talking about, I think the fans are gravitating towards this team. Tuesday night, that place was damn near packed, 32,000 against the Blue Jays. It was fun. We had all the excitement in that game too. You had the comeback, you had everything. It was just drama ensued. And you had Brett Wisely being the hero, basically, because it was a walk-off wild pitch, but Wisely tied it up in the ninth. A young guy. Elliot Ramos, young guy. it's fun to start gravitating towards these players again, because that's what made those Giants teams early on so special, is because you had the building blocks and you had the scars of going through it with the Matt Cains, with the Tim Lincecums, guys like that, right? Pablo Sandoval early, like you had some homegrown names, and then obviously it all culminated. You got Buster Posey, you got Madison Bumgarner, like everything happened so quickly, but it took a little bit of time, but at least you saw the blueprint. I do think you're seeing somewhat of a blueprint, but it's not completed yet. It's a quarter of the way done. And a quarter of the way done when Farhan Zaidi's been here for what? 7 years? 6 years? Whatever it is? It's just not good enough. But I'm afraid, as Troy Aikman likes to say sometimes in regards to Jimmy Garoppolo,
I'm afraid that it's going to have to be Jimmy Garoppolo that gets it done.
I'm afraid it's going to have to be Farhan Zaidi that has to get it done this year. Or years. Because I don't think even if they don't make the playoffs, he's sticking around. Like, that's obvious now. If you disagree, 888-957-9570, I would love to hear you. I'd also love to hear you on the YouTube chat, on the Twitch stream, or on Twitter. We are streaming on all of those platforms. Just search 95.7 The Game. Like, subscribe there. Ring that bell, we like to say. It's all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Hope you all having a lovely morning for just getting off work, getting ready for work. Been at work for a while. Yeah. Appreciate all of you guys chiming in here. You know the number. You know the Xfinity Mobile text line, 888-957-9570. Also, be sure to download that Odyssey app. It's free. It's spectacular. You can find awesome interviews there, like we had yesterday. Kyle Anderson, slow-mo, joined Steiny and Q. And it might have been one of the funniest opening, listen, Steiny's a lot of things, but he prides himself on being a guy that's unorthodox as a host. He's not traditional, as Nahigian always likes to say, and Steiny always reminds the audience. But yesterday, when he was bringing Kyle Anderson onto the show, and I don't blame Steiny for this one, it might have been one of the most awkward intros I've ever heard, but I don't think it was Steiny's fault. But listening to it in real time was just like, what the hell just happened? Take a listen real quick, and we'll get back to the Giants.
What's going on, Kyle? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. Let me start here. Well, welcome to the Bay, first of all. And anyway.
Oh, God, I love you, Steiny. Anyway. No, that was, hey, I'm Steiny's back on this one. Like, you say welcome to Bay, like, all right. But I think Kyle, in his mind, he's like, I already said hi. I already said, like, welcome. So it's...
What's going on, Kyle? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. Let me start here. Well, welcome to the Bay, first of all. And anyway.
That little he looked in the control room. It was just... I think Bonte was in there too. We all looked at each other, and Steiny looked from the room. Oh, I love you, Steiny. Never change. Again, it's not his fault at that point. I get it. It happens. And it was no John Fogerty mixed up with John Sally incident. We don't want to have one of those. Oh, Steiny's fine, by the way. He's chilling.
John Sally.
I think he's out in Reno with Dan Dibley. They're golfing out there. And not at the American Century Championships, where I'm seeing guys like Jason Kelsey, seeing A-Rod, I'm seeing A-Raj, Aaron Rodgers. See all these guys. Austin Reeves. All of them. And was that Kirsten out there doing content for us? Shout out the lovely Kirsten. Our 95.7 The Game producer here. Doing a hell of a job. All right. Back to the Giants. From the Xfinity Mobile text on 510. This is who the Giants have been under Farhan Zaidi. This is what they will continue to be if they don't move on. Mediocre. I tend to agree, but I don't think he's going anywhere, even if they don't make the playoffs. Again, it's July 12th. There's a lot of time between now and September. But my goodness, it's just more. I'm just watching the same team I've been watching the last 2 years. Basically. Now, they're going to have some reinforcements to prove me wrong, to prove us wrong. How much can Robbie Ray contribute? How much can Alex Cobb contribute? How much can Kyle Harrison contribute going forward? Hayden Birdsong, cute story, 3 starts. He's one bad start away from everyone being like, oh, well, that was fun. Like, Logan Webb just got roughed up the other day. And I know it's a little, premature to say anything like, oh, well, Logan Webb, there's signs right there of wear and tear. No, although he has been carrying the pitching staff on his back, and mentally that's got to be a load on his shoulders. Blake Snell, that was shown some signs of life. That helps. But again, I'm painting this picture of a bleak image, or an image that just doesn't really convey an emotion for a lot of people. And that's the that's the thing. I liken it to a piece of art. You go into like a gallery or something like that, and you just look like, and I've done this 1,000 times, and I don't pretend to be some artist or anything. I've been to the Louvre. Maybe I didn't appreciate it as much as 18 as I would at 31 when I went. And there were some cool pictures and history. It was awesome. I was with my buddies and stuff like that. I just graduated high school, so there was a lot going on. But it's like going to an art gallery, looking at any picture and just being like, okay. It doesn't convey anything. And that's the worst thing you could have from an artist or from a professional sports team. In this case, just doesn't do anything. Just there. At least either be horrible or be entertaining or be good. Now, there's ways to be entertaining while being mediocre. I mean, the San Diego Padres have been doing that the last couple of years. At least they're entertaining. And they're 2 games over 500. Now, part of that's the ballpark, part of that's the experience, but they do have players, like big-time players, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, guys like that, et cetera, et cetera. This is my guy, Merrill, the rookie this year. It's been incredible. That Jerkson Profar has been incredible. It's an all-star starter, for God's sakes. A's legend, Jerkson Profar. So, I'm feeling like I'm that pedestrian walking through an art gallery and watching the Giants and being like, well, yeah, they're just there. And that can't be the case for the Giants. God, they're going to be the only show in town. You got to give me a little more than just being, it just can't happen. Bob Melvin, after the game yesterday. Where's my sound at? I'm all over the place this morning. It's all right. It's a Friday. It's a feel-good Friday. Non-payday Friday. But you know what? We'll get through it. I got paid last Wednesday because it was a holiday, so I really shouldn't be complaining too much, to be honest with you. Here we go. Bob Melvin, what did you see from Jordan Hicks?
Yeah, I mean, look, the velo's down some, obviously. Trying to pitch more to contact, more balls on the ground. He did get some double plays, but not his best game. We didn't do too terribly well at anything today other than hit a home run in the first inning, home run in the ninth. So, look, he's at a point now where, he's battling. Hopefully once we get to the break, it'll give him a nice little respite to where, he hasn't had this year. The one thing he has, he's taking the ball for us every single time. I know that the last few times, last month or so, the velo hasn't been the same, but hopefully after the break, it'll pick up a little bit.
He started the game out at 89 miles an hour on his sinker. 89? That's like Barry Zito stuff. Like, that was concerning to me, the velocity, to Bob Melvin's point. Jordan Hicks is a guy, I get it. He's used to having that bullpen arm where he's always jacked up, always mid to high 90s. But yesterday, he looked exhausted. Again, Shasky was on it in the group chat earlier. I'll give him credit for it. He's like, this guy's just exhausted. He was on it yesterday. So some time in the bullpen may be doing him some good post All-Star break. But again, that's only if you can get some of these guys to be more consistent. Kyle Harrison, he's the younger arm here. He's the guy that also needs to get it going. Hayden Birdsong, continue, please. But he's only a bad start away from maybe Bob Melvin not having as much trust in him. But maybe he doesn't have a choice, considering when Robbie Ray and Alex Cobb are going to come back. We don't know. Bob Melvin, what happens to Hicks when people come back from the IL?
Yeah, look, once we get there, we'll probably have an idea. But as of right now, we know he's going to have to pitch until, start until then. We signed him as a starter. Obviously you have to look at the innings at some point in time. But you know what? I give him credit. He takes the ball every fifth day and goes out there for us, tries to get as much as he can. It was close to 100 pitches today, right? Yeah, so look, he's just battling right now.
Just battling right now again. Jordan Hicks yesterday taking the L, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs allowed. Just wasn't good. Got roughed up in that first inning, 3 runs, and listen, that was kind of the game right there. Giants only end up scoring 3. You get the late Yaz homer in the 9th. That was kind of one of those. All right, yeah, great. So Kevin Gausman returns to town, though. Returns, I'm not going to say home because he was only here for a year, but returns to San Francisco for the first time since being a Giant. 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned run, 3 Ks. Kevin Gausman's kind of the one that got away, right? The one that you really feel like of those contracts where it's like, wow, we signed DeSclafani, we couldn't sign Gausman instead. That was the one that hurt. He's the one that kind of got away. But in fairness, got Logan Webb now. We'll see with Kyle Harrison. I'm not overly concerned about the starting rotation here for the San Francisco Giants. I get it. You can say, Spadoni, how can you not be concerned? You haven't really had starting pitching. I think they're going to start getting some guys back here in July and August. And not just some guys. Alex Cobb was an all-star. Robbie Ray is a Cy Young winner. Blake Snell's a 2-time Cy Young winner. Logan Webb is a runner-up for the Cy Young. Kyle Harrison is a highly touted prospect who at times has shown brilliance. Hayden Burnsong, gutsy, has command of 4 different pitches, looks like a seasoned vet out there. I've been impressed. So I'm not overtly concerned about them. What I am concerned about is the offense. And stop me if you've heard that one before. San Francisco Giants offense, giving you cause for pause. God, again, can I just get more from guys like Soler? More consistent power with Chapman, who has shown it in the past, but I know it's not his forte. Like, I shouldn't be relying solely on Elliot Ramos to give me all my home runs. God, Elliot Ramos has been on a tear, by the way. Guy's just incredible. 14 home runs this year? Batting 300. All-star guy. It's incredible. This is the year of the young guys, by the way. Like, Paul Skeens, I was watching him yesterday, the phenom pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who's probably going to start the All-Star game, by the way, as a rookie, which is incredible. When's the last time that happened? A rookie pitcher starting an All-Star game. Look at it. Let me know. 888-957-9570. I can't remember the last time. Was it a Verlander? Was it a Kershaw? Not Lincecum, right? No? 888-957-9570. I can't remember. But then again, my memory's shot only at 31 years old. That's what 2 kids will do to you. I do know songs from Miss Rachel, though. Icky, Sticky, Sticky Bubble Gum. That's a good one. Probably pushed away some of the old sports memories I had. That's all right. But Paul Skeens, man, he had 7 no-hit innings yesterday. Got pulled, and people were like, "Oh, it's a no-hitter." First of all, no one cares about no-hitters anymore. Can we finally say that? No one cares about no-hitters. They happen a bajillion times over the last couple of years. It's lost its shine. If it was a perfect game, that's one thing. But it wasn't. He had a walk already. He doesn't care. I think that's the second time he's been pulled during a no-hitter, quote unquote, as well. I think he had one against the Cubs on his first road start, and he had like 6 no-hit innings or something like that. That's what he does. Guy's just incredible. Again, the young guys are taking over. I think there's 30 or 31 first-time All-Stars. Maybe it's getting more because you're getting guys getting elevated and guys get pushed down because of injuries. Like, it's been unbelievable. And it's nice to see the Giants get rewarded for one of their young guys, finally. I just need to see more of it. I just need to see more. Last one here from Bob Melvin, wrapping up this conversation on the Giants, and we'll pivot to the Warriors here. And Kyle Anderson in his interview with Steiny and Guru, 888-957-9570. Slow-mo speaking for the first time to the fan base here in the Bay Area, on our radio waves, I should say. Bo Mel, you concerned about Jordan Hicks' velocity?
Well, I mean, look, the velocity's down some, but as a starter, we never expected it to be 100 all the time. You know, when you come out of the bullpen for an inning, you just let it go and you air it out. Even at the beginning of the year, we weren't seeing those kind of numbers. It's just here recently fallen a little bit as far as the velo goes, trying to do it a little bit differently. But again, we'll see how it shows up after the break.
888-957-9570. Continue to take your calls and texts in regards to the Giants. Where are you at with this team right now, who is guaranteed to be under 500 heading into the All-Star break? That's what I want to know, Giants fans. Are you in or out on Farhan Zaidi? It feels like a question I shouldn't even have to be asking anymore. I mean, if we're asking this question 6 years or 7 years into the tenure, it should be a no-brainer, right? Right? Is anyone still defending this guy? And I don't like to be that guy that comes back to the GM constantly. I have just been watching this same Giants team for far too long, and it's just frustrating. It is. It is. You know what's not frustrating, though? Phil Collins Friday and having a nice weekend. That's what I need this weekend. I need to get the mind right. I need to get the mentals right. Maybe the Giants, that's all they need. Going to pick me up against the Twins. It'll be tough, but do that. Maybe you get your mentals right heading to the All-Star game, I should say. I'm going to try to get my mentals right, get some tea in me on this break. We'll pick it up on the other side, right here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming?
One segment down, 2 more to go here. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 the game. 2 more segments. And then Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Oh, Brandon Pajemski Pods. Joining them at 9:30. Getting to hear that. All rookie team last year. Played for USA select team that practiced against our Team USA. Get his thoughts on that. His thoughts on going up against all those big boys and having the confidence to do that. That's the one word I keep hearing attributed to Pods is confidence. Confidence, confidence, confidence. How much confidence do you have in Farhan Zaidi and San Francisco Giants after a 5-3 loss yesterday? Guaranteeing them to be under 500 heading into the All-Star break? Let me know. 888-957-9570 is the number.
Man, I thought I was feeling pretty confident with that, but all right.
All right. Chilling pretty confident. That's Adam in the city right there. I'm confident in this guy, Kyle Anderson, who joined Steiny and Goo yesterday. And you know what? For the sake of it, I'm playing the whole thing. You know why? Because I can. That's why. And I actually was surprised about how energetic, and maybe I shouldn't because his name is slow-mo because it's just this play on the court. Not like he's a slow personality or anything like that. Guy's from New Jersey, East Coast guy. Just when I screamed the call, because he called in and I talked to him, I was the producer for us signing yesterday. He's like, "Hey, how you doing, man? Joe, yeah, great to talk to you." I was like, wow, very personal, very likable guy. I think fans will be enjoying Kyle Anderson next year. Here's how he sounded yesterday with Steiny and Guru.
When did the Warriors first show up on your radar?
I would say at the start of free agency. My agent just let me know there was some interest. Obviously there was some interest on our side, just playing against the Warriors for so long, my whole career, and just, seeing how they've done things with class, won and lost with class. It's a top tier organization. So, it popped up at the start of free agency.
Kyle, you got a unique style. Like we both are fans of your game. When you look at this Warrior offense and system, what do you bring to it?
I would say, I always playing against the Warriors, I realize you got to have a high IQ to play for Coach Kerr. Just with the sets he runs, and their offense is a lot of read and react and, making plays on your own and being unselfish. So I think that's my game right there. I think I fit right in. Since my rookie year, I've always thought I'd fit in really well with this team. It's something I'm really excited about.
Kyle Anderson joining us on 95.7 The Game. All guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands, River Islands in Lathrop? How would you describe your game to someone who's never seen it?
How would I describe my game? I think to maybe the avid fan, someone who doesn't know the game but loves the game and watches the game here and there, but is not really in tune with it. I think to them, I don't think they'll take a liking to my game. I think that type of fan would want to see a lot of threes, a lot of dunks, a lot of flashy plays, and you probably won't get that out of me. To me, I think more people who, know the game and can see things that don't show up on the stat sheet. I think, those type of people really take a liking to my game, and, just people that understand how to play the game really. I think I'm an unselfish guy. I think I make a lot of plays that don't show up on the stat sheet. I try to defend and rebound as well as I can, focus on things I can control. And just a playmaker in general. That's really the guy I've been my whole career. Even in high school, I wasn't a 30-point per game scorer. My game today, you see, is the game I've always had.
Kyle, I love it, and I just referred to your game as unique, but you also have a unique new teammate in Draymond Green, who you've battled with. What's it like, and what's it like going up against him, and now knowing he will be riding with you to try to, get back to the promised land?
Yeah, I've always loved Dre. Draymond since my rookie year as well, and he's a guy that it looks like it's a SOB to play against him. But when you got him on your team, I'm sure you enjoy the passion and the energy that he brings. Also the IQ. He's one of the best to ever do what he does. He kind of transcended the game into a small ball game for all 30 teams in this league. And he's a winner. It's as simple as that. So I'm super excited to play alongside of him.
Kyle Anderson joining us on 95.7 The Game. All guests appear via the River Islands guest line. Kyle, you're not, obviously your nickname is Slow-Mo, but my question is this. Defensively, you're good. You're a really good defensive player, and your lateral movement obviously is one of your advantages on the defensive end. Why are you such a good defender? What enables you to be the defender you are?
I just try to work on it really in the summertime. I think a lot of it is watching film, knowing guys' tendencies. Like NBA players don't have a whole lot of moves in their bag. They really all do the same moves, 82 games, all year. The film is going to show, what they like, where they like to go, their tendencies, things like that. So, and I also, coming into this league, I was told, who am I going to be able to guard in this league, which I thought was nonsense because, I think defense is all, effort. So, I think just, really buying in on that end and really making a niche of being a good defender, just, trying to keep it going, really, having some care on the defensive end.
We were talking about what are we going to ask him? Your last 2 years at St. Anthony's in high school going 65-0. I told my partner, I want to know the origin of the nickname Slow-Mo. Where'd you get that from?
I got that at about 10 years old. We went to 10 and under nationals, and we would play against the teams from down south, and they obviously liked my game. They thought I was really good, and they would just call me Slow-Mo. Like I don't even think they knew my real name. They had that country accent, and oh man, that's Slow-Mo. So that's just always where it came from. It stuck with me from then. But even back in New York City, another big time tournament that I played in as a kid, it was actually a league called IS8 in Queens, New York. And the announcer, Pete Edwards, he kind of just gave me the nickname Slow-Mo. So, from those, two standpoints, the nickname just stuck with me and came about.
Kyle Anderson joining us on 95.7 The Game. It's interesting. So you didn't take it as an insult, Slow-Mo.
No, I never took it as an insult. I thought I've been moving fast this whole time.
It worked, though. It worked for you,
baby. Know what? I got to be honest with you. It's kind of funny because I'm describing your game and I'm thinking about your game, and I feel like I almost have to be careful because some of the things that come out might not be flattering. Like I always thought that the best opportunity for an NBA player is you got to have one thing you do great, one thing. And you can't really be a jack of all trades and a master of none. But when I look at you, not one thing really sticks out, but I do feel like he can do a lot of things. Like, is that a compliment, an insult, or in between?
No, that was pretty offensive. No, I'm totally kidding. No, that doesn't bother me. Look, this will be my 11th season coming up. A lot of people can say what they want, but I've always knew the type of style that I play and the way I play and the winning basketball I play, competing on the defensive end. I knew that would help me stick around in the league. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Kyle Anderson joining us on 95.7 The Game, newest Golden State Warriors acquisition. You're obviously a student of the game. I've never heard anybody say that they spend the summers working on defense. But nevertheless, let me ask you about what you've already seen with the Warriors. Now, you don't know what your role's going to be, but you know who's on their roster and how they have played in the past. What do you think you can bring to this table, and how will you just kind of flow along and see what's needed to be done? How does a new player integrate himself to a new team?
Well, first, I don't want to make it seem like I'm just strictly working on defense in the summertime. Like it's a few drills that could be implemented in our workouts that can help me on the defensive end. But, you didn't have to
do that. We love it. You didn't have to do that.
I don't want to make it seem like I'm this big time defender who works on it and it's here and there we throw some drills in that can help me out. But as far as my game and fitting in, I'm just gonna be who I am, really. I'm a guy that, when I step out there, I focus on what I can control, going out there, defending, rebounding. I think those are, signs of, how you can affect the game and play hard and things you can control. And then on the offensive end, just be a playmaker. I'm a guy that could get the rebound, start a break, make the throw-ahead pass, get the hockey assist, make the extra pass, or play make and get the assist myself. So that's just, I can only be myself when coming into this new offense. And I think, from watching the Warriors, they have a lot of high IQ guys. I'm a high IQ guy. I think we're going to figure it out. It might not click right away, but it's not something I'm worried about. I think I think I could fit into any offense in the league, to be honest.
I love that. Kyle, as far as music, we got E40, Too Short. How familiar are you with the Bay Area, and what have you learned so far from it?
I'm not too familiar. This is brand new to me, but I have always loved Too Short, E40.
There you go.
Free, a bunch of Bay Area rappers. I respect California a lot. I love the Bay. Obviously, I went to UCLA. I haven't spent much time in the Bay, but I'm super excited to be a part of it and live there and
there you go.
Lose myself in the culture.
Hey, Kyle, you were on the Spurs in 17 when Kawhi got hurt in the first game, the Western Conference Finals. If Kawhi doesn't get hurt, you beat the Warriors that year in the Western Conference Finals?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure, I think so. Just the way we were playing that year. And, I remember Kawhi kept saying it the whole time, yeah, we're going to beat these guys. We're going to beat these guys. And see how he played and see how he came out in game one. It was like, all right, yeah, we got a chance. We're going to get it done. And then, unfortunately the injury happened and, things went left after that. But I thought we had a good chance we was going to win that series.
Yeah, you guys were up 25 in that first game. Yeah. It's one we talk about here.
It was only game one, but I knew it would have been a long series. That wasn't to tell for how the series would go. But I thought we would have I thought we had a really good shot at winning that series. I thought we would have won it. But who's to say who would have won at this point?
Kyle, now another addition the Warriors made was bringing in your former teammate, DeAnthony Melton. Tell us how big of a deal it is to have familiarity with him coming to a new locale, just like he is for the first time.
Yeah, that's big time, man. That's my guy. Obviously, on the court, we played together, but off the court, we're super tight. We built, a really good bond in Memphis our 2 years there. We were in a bubble together. That's my guy. It's a lot of fun playing alongside of him. His offense has come a long way. He's a really good shooter, can play make, can keep possessions alive, but he's a threat defensively. Someone who enjoys getting in the stands and getting stops, or he's really good with his hands. He's just a fun player to play alongside with because he plays hard and how he approaches the game. So Melt is my guy. I'm super excited to be back with him.
Can I assume, Kyle, that he can guard multiple positions? Because I'm starting to look at this roster, and if he can do it, you obviously can do it, and Wiggins can do it, and it's one of the things the Warriors have done over the years is switch everything. So I take it Melton can do that?
Oh, 100%. 100%. You could count on Melt to get that done.
Kyle Anderson on Steiny Guru yesterday. And also, if you want to hear that interview again or find any interview we do here at 95.7 The Game, go to Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Odyssey app, rewind, do whatever you got to do to find it because you can find them all right there. And they're free. It's great, isn't it? All right. Got to take a quick break. Come on back. More of your calls, more of your texts. Wrap this show up on this beautiful weekend here in the Bay Area, 95.7 The Game.
UCSF Sports Medicine Center is dedicated to treating every type of athlete, from kids to adults, amateurs to elite professionals. As one of the best orthopedic
Damn right, it's a Phil Collins Friday. We're fired up, man. Joe Spadoni with you for another, 10 minutes before handing off to Bonte and Chasky. We're all just talking about the receiver doc right there. The content's incredible. The quarterback doc, incredible. The receiver doc, incredible. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's on Netflix. Find it. They chronicle, who is it this year? Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Devontae Adams. 5 players there. Just following them throughout the NFL season. And it's fascinating stuff. Some behind-the-scenes look you don't get anywhere else. Get into these guys' minds, get into the minds of their family members, their wives, their kids, all that. It's really awesome stuff. And there's just so many layers. And this one's so cool, too, because not only do you have 2 Niners, but you also just got to see Devontae Adams and Jimmy Garoppolo. And Jimmy Garoppolo, the first time of him not being a Niner and him being a Raider last year, it was just, Devontae wasn't having it. Let's just say that. He was not having it. I don't blame the guy either. The medicine balls that he used to throw here. And listen, let's not have revisionist history too much. Jimmy Garoppolo was a solid quarterback in San Francisco. He was very solid, had some great moments, and had some not great moments. And I think that's how you summarize the Jimmy Garoppolo era in San Francisco. Almost won a Super Bowl. Listen, almost won a Super Bowl, which is kind of miraculous in hindsight, just given what we've seen in that first year with the Raiders, and now he's back up with the Los Angeles Rams. Missing the first 2 games because he got popped for steroids. That's all right, though. See, you care about that stuff in baseball. We don't care in football. We don't care, right? We just don't. 888-957-9570. That's the number. From the Xfinity mobile text line, Miss Rachel the Goat, 415. Hey, icky, sticky, sticky, sticky bubblegum, man. Stuck into your hair. There you go. Hey, baby girl used to love it. Now she's on, what is she like now? Daniel Tiger and stuff like that. I'm out on Peppa Pig. That show sucks. Bluey's whatever. I think I've seen every single episode now a bajillion times too. I'm kind of just tuned it out. Benny's into the old Pokemon, which is cool. So I get to rehash that with them right now. So hitting up the old, what was that? Indigo League. Yeah. I'm only like a season 1 guy. I think I kind of like got over it when I was like 9, 10. Starting into Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what happened. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Started being the stuff. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, it might be a generational gap thing. Early 2000s anime. That's it. Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. Then I got into Naruto, One Piece. Started watching One Piece like in 2000. And are they finishing that series up, the anime, like within the next couple of years? I've been watching that show for 24 years. And it's not, a soap opera, although it kind of is a soap opera. But that's how you kind of liken it. Like it's been on that long. Like a Simpsons. It's been that crazy. All right. I guess we can get back to the San Francisco Giants. I'm happy with the San Francisco Giants. As Bonte would say about Brock Purdy.
I'm happy with Brock Purdy.
Thank you. Big year for Brock. Steve Kerr. No, it's not Steve Kerr. It's the Giants. Dave Fleming. Sorry. I literally have like 20 cuts that says Steve Kerr right here on my soundboard. I was just looking at all them in awe. I got Dave Fleming right under it. But Dave Fleming, who's the voice of the San Francisco Giants, is calling some of the games during that road trip, NBC Sports Bay Area. Does a hell of a job here at 95.7 The Game, too, when we have him on. Always great stuff. And yeah, he works for the team, but he's not one of those guys that sugarcoats a lot of stuff. He understands that this team right now is kind of in the balance. They've kind of shifted expectations, but the expectations still for me was always playoffs. But now it's not. It doesn't feel like his playoffs are bust for anything. I don't know what's at stake this year. We heard that word at stake. What's that? There's a lot at stake for Farhan Zaidi. I don't know if there is anymore. I really don't. Dave Fleming yesterday on Bonte and Chasky in the Morning Roast. The youth movement does not change expectations.
I don't think they're altering their expectations. I do think that it's going to be a massive challenge for the young guys to get to the finish line this year. All of these players. Now, look, Tyler Fitzgerald's played a ton of games in the minor leagues. He knows what a long season is like. But a lot of these younger guys, pitchers and position players, are sort of testing the limits of their baseball stamina. And that's going to really show up in August and September, and we'll see how they do.
We'll see how they do. That doesn't give me much confidence, though. Like, again, I thought this was a playoff team this year. I said they were. Expectations were playoffs. And right now they have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 teams ahead of them for the wild card. And they're only, 3 games up on the Nationals who are right behind them. The Nationals stink. They're 10 games under. But you know what? The Cubs stunk too a little bit. And they've won 4 in a row. Now they're tied with the Giants. 4 games under 500. Baseball's a weird game, man. But you're not going anywhere if you're going to stay stuck under 500. I'll tell you that right now. Or Fleming on, this should be a playoff team.
When you have a team that's headlined by Webb and Snell and Doval and Chapman and Conforto and Soler and Bailey, and Rommel's playing the way he is, you should be a playoff team in your mind. You should have the expectation we're good enough to get there and do damage when we get there. So I don't think it changes the expectation.
We'll see. I don't see a playoff team right now. I didn't, last couple of weeks, even when they were going on a little stretch. They need to start building something in the ways of a 5, 6, 7 game win streak. I just don't know if this team is capable of doing that right now. And it's a mental hurdle. Like it really is. If you're hovering under 500 for so long, you get so close, then you fall back. It's like climbing a mountain, man. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, or rock climbing or whatever. When you were a kid, it's funny because I watch my little toddler do this all the time. It's like watching my toddler trying to climb up a slide. You ever see kids try to do this? Like, she's 1.5. She's trying to climb up the slide. She keeps falling back down. That's the Giants right now, trying to get over 500. They're crawling up the slide, trying to walk. She's looking around. Hey, Dad, look. And she falls on her butt. That's what the Giants keep doing. They fell on their butt, proverbially, against Toronto. Dave Fleming on if the Giants will target a shortstop at the deadline.
I think if you could swing a deal at the deadline that was not a short-term rental. Now, if somebody was dumping a shortstop who is a really solid, I just don't see who that player is right now. I'm looking around and going, I don't see a solid big league shortstop who's, a rental at a lower cost. You're not going to give up your prospect inventory for a rental in a season like this where you're still trying to scratch and claw to fight. That's just dumb. That would not be the right way to go. But you could give up your prospect inventory for a shortstop who's going to be with you for not just this year, but for the next while. And if that player were to pop up and be available, I could see the Giants making a move like that.
Brett Wisely right now, the shortstop, obviously moving off of Nick Ahmed. Marco Luciano wasn't that guy when he got called up. Still down in AAA, so we'll see what they do at the deadline. Again, Farhan Zaidi was speaking yesterday. He was saying, you know what, we're looking like sellers. Yeah, a lot of confidence in the young guys you're instilling there, Farhan. 888-957-9570. Got about 1:30 left. Oh, man, from the Xfinity mobile text line. From 650. I remember hearing when we got Farhan, I thought it was the worst signing ever. Please fire Farhan. Hashtag fire Farhan. Okay. Hey, 650 wasn't happy about the move. Listen, I think a lot of Giants fans, you'd be kidding yourself. After that one spectacular season they had when they won the division, it was a historical regular season for him. Come on. He was at his stock was at an all-time high. And they took a step back. And it's like, okay, yeah, well, we expected it. And then you tried again. It hasn't worked. You've been mediocre, even below mediocre, even below average. And there's time for some change. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, there needs to be change. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen. What is going to happen next is Joe Shasky and Bonta Hill, though. They got Brandon Pajemski pods coming up at 9:30. Can't wait for that. That's all right here on 95.7 The Game. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1.